Hello, students. Good morning, all of you. Today, I, Ravindra Mohan Mishra from Sri Jagdamba Sanskrit College, Batho, am taking the class of Shastri first. Yesterday, we have seen some explanation from the poem The Wild Swan at Coole. Today, we see later explanation from this poem. For this, today I have selected one paragraph, that is, the paragraph is, I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is sure all is changed since I, hearing at twilight, the first time on the shore, the bare beat of their wings above my head, trod with a lighter thread. These lines have been extracted from the poem The Wild Swans at Coole. These are composed by W.B. Yeats. He was a great Anglo-Irish poet. In this third stanza, the speaker describes about the beauty of nature. Because the poem is a meditation on the speaker's life that is catalyzed or prompted by his observation of a group of swans. He begins by describing the scene before him. In these above lines, the speaker turns his thoughts inward. Here, having described the present moment and a similar moment 90 years ago, the speaker begins to compare his present self with the person he was 90 years old. But since seeing these brilliant swans once again has underscored just how much has changed in those 90 years since Yeats first clapped eyes on the swans. While the swans are the same brilliant creatures there were 90 years ago, all is changed for the speaker. The passage of time and the disappointments of life have changed him, not just in body but also in spirit. The sight of the swans brings him back to the days when he trod with a lighter thread. Perhaps he is remembering when he was younger and quite literally lighter, or perhaps he is remembering the days when he did not live under such heavy burdens and could walk with a spring in his step. Whatever days he is remembering, he reveals that all is changed since those days. Back then, he was a young man in his early 30s, and now, but he in his early 50s, in late middle age, unmarried and without children. His youthful optimism and openness of life were reflected in the energy of his movements. Meditating upon this loss, his heart is sure. In other words, After watching the brilliant creature, he admits that his heart is sure completely. The reason for his aching heart is that everything has changed so much since he first watched those swans take 15 take flight 19 years earlier. When he first saw the swans, they did not make his heart sure. Something has changed over the years so that the sight of these swans now brings sadness to his heart. Perhaps it is because there seems to be such a sharp contrast between the swans and himself. While he is tied down to earth, where there are many cares and worries, they are free to fly, worry free into the sky. In short, these lines teach us that summer has declined into autumn and now Yeats mention twilight, which is contrasting that first twilight evening when he heard of wings of the swans nearly 2 decades ago with the deeper twilight of his own life as he grows older. Now we see the next explanation of the poem, means the next paragraph for the explanation for today. The next paragraph today is as such: unwearied still, love her by love her, they paddled in the cold, companionable streams, or climbed in the air. Their hearts have not grown old. Passion or conquest wander where they will attend upon them still. These lines have been taken from the poem While the Wild Swans at Coole. These are composed by W.B. Yeats. He was a great Anglo-Irish poet. In the third stanza, the speaker describes about the frustration of his life. He wants to say that the life is not full of bed of roses. Our life is full of difficulties as such. In these above lines of the stanza fourth of the poem The Wild Swan at Coole, the speaker contrasts the swans with himself. He has changed so much, and the swans have not changed at all. Swans made for life, and this line reveals just how much they are unwearied by each other's company. Yeats resents this as he compares it to his relationship with Gone. They are unwearied still and still paddle next to the very same lover. He says that their hearts have not grown old, neither has their passion faded. they are still free to wander where they will. Again, he implies the contrast between the swans and himself. While they have not grown old, he has the awareness of how much he has changed brings sadness to his heart. The speaker also continues to contrast the swans with himself. He notes that the swans swim in pairs, each having its own companion. The speaker describes the swans in language that implies he is the opposite of them. They appear to him unweird still, with hearts that have not grown old. He reads in their movements a youthful ease and energy that signifies that passion or conquest. The suggestion is that, in contrast to the swans, the speaker has gone through the ringer and that passion and conquest no longer animate him. The speaker contrasts this again also with his own lonely heart. The old age about swans, of course, is that they mate for life, hence, love her by love her. Even the stream they paddle in are companionable, suggesting the companion Yeats himself does not have. The swan's hearts